we have the first visual and textual proof of the abuse. It had only been reported so far by sources. Now you see a picture of the abuse and you see Shraddha in her own words talk about what she was suffering. Take a look.
Injury marks on her cheeks, a cut on her nose, bruises on her neck and swollen eyes. This image of Shraddha from 2020 has left everybody shocked. The alleged assault by Aaftab Poonawala was so brutal that Shraddha had to be hospitalized for 3 days. India Today has now accessed a medical report of Shraddha dating back to 2020. This report from a Vasai hospital reveals that Shraddha complained of backache and was hospitalized because of a suspected spine injury. The police suspect the document indicates Shraddha was physically assaulted by Aaftab. And in a stunning WhatsApp chat that India Today has exclusively accessed, it makes the doctor's point clearer. Shraddha had texted her manager in 2020 telling him that she will not be able to make it to work because of all the alleged beating by Aaftab. She told the manager that her blood pressure was low and that her body was hurting after being beaten up. The text makes it all too clear that Aaftab had assaulted her even earlier.
पेशेंट हमारे पास गर्दन का दर्द और बैक पेन करके आई थी कि जिसकी वजह से उसको गर्दन की मूवमेंट करने में और उठने बैठने में चलने में थोड़ी मुश्किल हो रही थी, पेन हो रहा था. तो फिर हमने उसको ऑर्थोपेडिशियन डॉक्टर योगेश पाटिल सर से कंसल्ट करके उसका ट्रीटमेंट चालू किया.
Below her cheekbone, all right, on her cheekbone, the entire blood clot was there of a blow given right on her face. All right, on her neck there were strangling marks because she was very fair, so you can easily make out all the blood clots were there. And on her waist, lower waist, she had blood clots, and that was clearly signs of physical abuse. And that is the same situation when we had taken her to the police station.
A doctor Shraddha consulted in 2021 revealed that Shraddha suffered from depression. The doctor said Shraddha had told him about Aaftab's anger issues. He described psychological tests both for Aaftab and for Shraddha, but she was hesitant to visit a hospital. He prescribed psychological tests both for Aaftab and Shraddha, but she was hesitant to visit the hospital.
I had received a call from her stating कि उनको कुछ सेडेटिव पिल्स की जरूरत हो रही है, थोड़ा सा साइकोलॉजिकल डिस्टर्बेंस चल रहा है फैमिली के अंदर. उनके जो मिस्टर आफ्ताब करके नाम बताया था तो उनका नेचर ही काफी अलग था. आई ऑल्सो थिंक कि कुछ वो he must be consuming some drugs as per talks. वो जो मुझे समझ में आया कि वो काफी गुस्से में रहते हैं और काफी टाइम तक उनको जो है गुस्सा रहता है.
Aaftab used to beat Shraddha, and those things were also revealed from the very start of the revelations made about the relationship itself. When Aaftab had literally burned her through cigarette butts.
Police sources have now revealed more grisly details from that night of horror. Aaftab was reportedly a drug addict. Shraddha and Aaftab had repeated arguments over his alleged marijuana addiction, and this left him very angry. A fight between the two on May 18 ended in Aaftab allegedly strangling Shraddha and later chopping her body into 35 pieces. The police are still searching for Shraddha's body parts, including her skull in the Mehrauli forest.
Police are here. They have in fact cordoned off a certain area where the searches are taking place to ensure that any body part that is left here in this particular forest, that can be found as soon as possible. The most important piece of evidence, that is the skull of Shraddha Walkar, that is yet to be found, and that exactly is the reason that the police searches are intensifying by the day.
With Akshay Dongre in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let me now show you the chat that India Today accessed, which was shared with us by the person who was holding this chat with Shraddha in November 2020. I advise viewer discretion, and I'd like to provide a trigger warning as well, because some of the things you're about to read in this chat are disturbing. This is Shraddha's text to her manager, where she says, everything got sorted after going to his parents' house, won't be able to make it because of all the beating. My BP, my blood pressure is low and my body hurts. Don't have the energy to get up from the bed. Need to make sure he moves out today. This is the first time and the clearest, most explicit occasion in which Shraddha, in her own words, talks about the beating. We don't know where else she's mentioned the beating, but this is the first WhatsApp text between Shraddha and a manager in November 2020, where she talks about that beating. I want to go across to Shreya Chatterjee, who's been reporting this story ever since her team broke it on Monday. She's right outside Aaftab Poonawala's flat, the same house where Shraddha was murdered, in May this year. Shreya, the WhatsApp chats that have come up, many of them are coming in. Nobody can independently corroborate them, but they paint a very, very disturbing picture of Shraddha reaching out for help, talking about her abuse and torture, possibly talking to an NGO. There is mention of a police station as well. How does this all fit in with the investigation?
Well, the only reason that this is a huge piece of evidence for the investigation per se is probably because it gives a window into the history, the background between Aaftab and Shraddha, the kind of relationship that they had. There has been time that we've already heard the Delhi police also say that this was a relationship where she was in a toxic and abusive relationship. But the first time now, there's evidence on the part that this girl, Shraddha, she'd actually shared about this to her friends, her colleagues as well. Now this chat, it also very categorically points out where she mentions that she'd also visited the residence of Aaftab's family, and that's how she believed that probably it would be sorted out. So one thing is also clear, that Aaftab's parents was aware of the kind of toxic relationship their son was probably in with this with the girl who unfortunately lost her life. Definitely a very key piece of information, and we would likely see the Delhi police record the statement of the manager of Shraddha, who's shared these chats with India Today, and these chats are extremely crucial because it points out that it is not in 2022, but it's been a history of abuse that Shraddha was undergoing.